Welcome to Boxing During Dinner, back here at RANDAZZO'S, Little Italy in Coral Gables, Florida. We're here tonight on Ladies' Night. It's Thursday. Ladies come and drink for free. Where's the flyer, David? Thursdays, there's a barbecue on the patio. Ladies can come and drink for free all night. I say it's a bargain.
I've seen quite a few ladies as well, so it's a bargain for them and it's a great deal for us.
It's an excellent deal for us. I saw Uncle Paulie flirting with a few women earlier.
Big surprise.
It's great. But David, I know it's Thursday, it was a few days ago, but we're both extremely wrong about the Lucas Matthysse Lamont Peterson fight.
Womp, womp.
Extremely wrong. I mean, we did say if Matthysse were to catch Peterson, he would win by knockout. I just expected Peterson to box a little more, which he didn't. Is Lucas Matthysse the hardest hitter in boxing right now?
It's hard to disagree. His sparring partners say that he hits harder than middleweights. Middleweight sparring partners, who sparred with Matthysse, say that he hits harder than guys that they're facing in their weight class. I mean, who knows? It doesn't look like it feels nice to get hit by Matthysse.
No, it doesn't.
Ask any of his opponents, and for all intents and purposes, Lamont Peterson has taken some serious hits throughout his career from big punchers too, and nothing's ever fazed him the way it did here. I mean, he walked down Victor Ortiz and back into a draw after getting knocked down. He took the best of what Amir Khan had to offer, who's also a pretty decent puncher himself. Kendall Holt, who can crank. Lamont Peterson, I think, came out fighting the right fight in the first round. But the second that Matthysse started to land a little bit, the game plan went out the window. And the first knockdown, to me, hurt him a lot more than maybe it looked like to the audiences watching probably from ringside. And the script was written after that. Matthysse fought a really smart fight, executed the way he's supposed to. And
he could crack with both, which is amazing. and here on Boxing During Dinner, we like to bring our fans into the show. Daniel Placides said it was a quick stoppage. He didn't agree with the stoppage. I think if they didn't stop it, I mean, it was the finale of the fight was written on the wall.
Yeah.
And Steve Smolger's usually a guy that allows fights to go really long. For him to have stopped that fight when he did, he must have seen Lamont Peterson's eyes somewhere else.
Right, I agree.
So
there's one of our Boxing During Dinner fans on Facebook, Rex Von Warmer, made a comment that I liked really, and he said Matthysse is like Julian Jackson only with an iron chin. This is one scary dude. Which is a comment that Malignaggi made also.
Julian Jackson, one of my favorite punchers of all time, and one of my favorite fighters of all time. Lucas Matthysse now, David. A lot of people are talking about what's next.
Yeah.
Showtime, they're incorporating Danny Garcia in this small tournament, 140 pounds. He would be the one fighting Matthysse next. And there's also talk that if Floyd Mayweather Jr. doesn't fight an Amir Khan or a Canelo Alvarez, Matthysse would be the guy. Let's go one by one. How would he fare against Danny Garcia? I'm of the opinion he beats Danny Garcia by knockout.
I am too. Look, and I continue to sleep on Danny Garcia, and he always rises to the occasion and proves me wrong. But the problem is, he's definitely going to get in his shots, but he's not going to knock out Lucas Matthysse, I don't think.
And he gets hit too much.
He gets hit a lot. Zab Judah proved in the second half of the fight when he started to increase his output that Garcia is there to be hit. And there are certain punches that, that Judah threw in that fight that did hurt Garcia later in the fight. I think those same punches coming from the Lucas Matthysse we're seeing now, and I owe an apology to people because I said that we both kind of agreed that Matthysse was just a raw puncher. He's not. The guy knows how to box. It's obviously not what he's going to be built for as a boxer, but he can box. He's a puncher, he's a boxer, he's a boxer-puncher, as a boxing purist would call it, and I would have to say that he would beat Garcia by knockout as well.
Now, with all that said, still not enough to beat a Floyd Mayweather Jr.
No. He's absolutely out of his depth if he gets in the ring with Mayweather, but it's exciting because of the fact that Matthysse can punch with both hands. He's not terribly slow,
right?
And you never know with that kind of power.
One punch could end things, but Mayweather should outbox him. Now, the interesting one that could be the wild card in all this: how about Victor Ortiz against Lucas Matthysse?
I don't think that one happens, but holy hell if it does. I would love to watch it. I would love to watch it.
It'd be an amazing fight. And Lucas Matthysse, sky's the limit for this guy right now. He's the hottest guy in boxing. I really wish Top Rank and Golden Boy would get together so we can see Matthysse Alvarado or Matthysse Brandon Rios.
Yeah.
Any of those fights would be amazing.
Or Matthysse versus Ruslan Provodnikov.
Oh my God.
I'd pay to see any of them.
Too good, but something that's really good this weekend.
Yeah.
Mikkel Kessler and Carl Froch.
Two.
And if a lot of people don't remember, Kessler won the first fight,
He did.
which is hard to believe after the way Froch has looked lately.
Interesting to think that the guy who won the first fight is going into the second, in the eyes of many, as not the favorite. It seems like the consensus is that Carl Froch has improved enough since that fight that he could actually go in there and not only outbox Kessler, but maybe knock him out. And Kessler's not the kind of guy who gets knocked out.
I don't think it'll be a knockout.
I don't either.
I think it'll be a tough fight. Even though Froch has improved so much, the fact Kessler beat him in the first fight, Kessler must know something about Carl Froch's style to warrant him being, at least in the fight. A lot of people are just counting him out completely. I might give a slight edge to Froch, just because of how he's looked lately. How he looked against Lucien Bute. He's improved a lot. He looked like a machine in that last fight.
Yeah.
He probably has the hottest wife or girlfriend or whatever she is in all of boxing, hands down. I know Miss Jackson's really hot because I made eye contact with her and I got scared because I didn't want to get my ass kicked. And Bella Gonzalez with Shane Mosley, another hottie. But Carl Froch might be the
You
best.
gotta wonder. I think her name is Rachel something. I don't know.
She's hot.
You have to wonder if she's gonna
really
help.
hot.
Here's one thing that I'm thinking though, and you made this point that Mikkel Kessler is a hell of a boxer, and he's
Very good.
basically as good in the past
Good
10
jab,
years
too.
as any super middleweight not named Andre Ward or Joe Calzaghe. You can make an argument for that. He beat Froch the first time around, but maybe I think people are overstating what Froch has done and understating because Kessler's been very mostly inactive, and the level of his opposition hasn't been that high since really the Andre Ward fight and being exited out of the Super 6. But Carl Froch has faced big-name opponents, beaten them in spectacular fashion. The way he destroyed Lucien Bute still has people riding a Carl Froch hangover
amazing.
into this because of the way he blew down someone who was perceived to be such an elite-level fighter.
It was probably the best performance of the year when he did it.
Here's the thing. Here's where I'm wondering. Was it more than what we thought it was? Is Carl Froch look like a world beater because he beat a guy who had never really been tested before that anyway?
But he was still beating the crap out of everybody he faced.
I'll take that. But guys like Andre Ward befuddled him. You know what I mean? He looked lost in the ring against Andre Ward. I still think Carl Froch is going to win this fight, but this is a lot closer than I expect it to be.
It is a lot closer, but then Andre Ward's probably one of the most masterful fighters in all of boxing.
And I'll give him that too. I want to give a quick shout out to Casper Holberg, a fan of ours. He's apparently driving out to London this weekend with a group of friends to watch this fight. He calls themselves the Vikings, the Viking Nation.
And guess who they're cheering for? Not Carl Froch.
Well, he said he bet with his heart and not his brain. His heart is going for Mikkel Kessler, but he believes that Carl Froch is going to win this fight. But cheers to you guys, Casper's friends who have said that they're going to be watching boxing during dinner in the lead up to this fight. You're warm up to it, and we're getting warmed up too. We can't wait to see that fight.
And David, this week your boy, your man crush, Miguel Cotto, they're talking about September 28th at the Barclays Center possibly against Cornelius Bundridge. I don't like the fight. I still want to see him against Canelo. Now they're saying that they're making some progress in the Canelo Mayweather negotiations. I don't know how true that is. I'll believe it when I see it. But what do you believe in the heart of hearts that Miguel Cotto will do? Is he gonna go to September 28th, or if the Canelo fight comes up, they offer him $10+ million, he takes that fight?
I think Cotto takes the Canelo fight absolutely if that's the fight that becomes available, and I still believe that is going to be the fight. I think that the September 28th motion is to say Golden Boy has basically not said that they have an opponent for Cotto. They're just reserving the Barclays Center simply because they want to have a fallback plan. I believe, and I'm sure that you believe, that Mayweather is going to fight someone like an Amir Khan or Devin Alexander if his hand's not that bad. And then it's going to ultimately be Cotto versus Canelo on that date or around that date. The rumor, of course, of Cornelius Bundridge comes from the fact that BoxRec.com, which has successfully listed the opponents of Manny Pacquiao when he fought, I'm trying to think who his last opponent was, where they saw it there.
Was it Marcus?
No, when they listed Brandon Rios as the opponent, when Floyd Mayweather fought Victor Ortiz. These were all fights that appeared on BoxRec and ultimately turned out to be fights that actually came to fruition. So maybe BoxRec knows something that we don't know, and it's quite possible that they would. If Cotto is fighting Cornelius Bundridge, it makes sense to me in the sense that each time Cotto's come off of a loss, he came back and fought what would normally be a difficult fight.
Yuri Foreman.
He fought Michael Jennings after losing to Antonio Margarito the first time to claim like a small strap. What doesn't make sense to me is that Cornelius Bundridge is a former title holder and not an actual title holder. I think Cotto, the title belts mean a lot to him and fighters in general. Maybe he's at the point in this stage of his career where he recognizes that no matter when he fights, that belt doesn't make a difference. He's going to be the credible opponent.
He's going to pack the house.
He's going to pack the house. So I think a fight against Cornelius Bundridge makes a lot of sense for him in the sense that it's a guy with a name who was recently a title holder that he can look very good against. There's also a rumor that Victor Ortiz could be that opponent for Miguel Cotto at the end of September as well, which I think would be
awesome.
Hell on wheels too to watch. But I think a lot's going to be found out in the next week or so because September, is pretty close. If you're going to put on a major fight promotion, It's got to happen now.
I still want to see Canelo Cotto, obviously. I do think Mayweather fights Amir Khan when all is said and done. And I do also think that if Alfredo Angulo somehow beats Arislan de Lara, he might fight Canelo. It'll be an intriguing fight for September 14th with the Mexicans. But one guy that I'm happy will not be fighting any of these guys is Antonio Margarito.
Yeah.
Antonio Margarito, the rumors of him coming back were false, and thankfully so. Antonio Margarito, for all the crap he gets in the ring because of what he did with the loaded gloves, he's actually a really good guy. He's a nice guy.
Always say he's a nice guy. Because of the rap saying, I don't think you can ever say he's a good guy. But
no, he's not a good but he's a nice guy. He's always friendly to people. And Antonio Margarito's eye, the last few times I've seen him, even before he fought Miguel Cotto, and I think we spoke about this before the fight.
Well, we had video footage of it when we were it was episode 32 of Boxing During Dinner, if you want to see it.
And I remember saying that I wasn't convinced that Antonio Margarito wasn't blind from that eye, and I'm still not convinced that he's not blind from that eye. If he does see, he sees blur.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't really see. But Miguel Cotto proved that in that fight.
Yeah.
He kept tattooing him with that jab and with the left hook. And if Antonio Margarito would come back now, he'd be risking permanent damage to his other eye, to the rest of his face, his brain. I'm really happy he's not coming back.
I am too, and I actually I read the comments of which he addressed. Some of the issues that came up were both, yes, regarding his return to fighting, but also comments made about his wife and his family, well, his now separated wife,
ex-wife,
and his girlfriend who he has a new child with and everything like that.
I did meet the girlfriend when she was pregnant.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, see, he's
and Antonio Margarito had braces.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, look at that. He's doing it. He's trying to straighten things out.
He looks like he was 22 years old.
But he answered the questions really properly. When those rumors start in places like Mexico and they involve the divorce settlement, yes, you might be actually putting his family in danger by making it seem like his wife is going to get millions of dollars from the settlement, but it's good that he's not coming back. You saw Miguel Cotto defeat him in a way that proved that Margarito's really...
From the first round on, I mean, it was a non-fight.
Right. Margarito delivered the best of what he had to offer in the ring. He had some hellacious wars that made him a joy to watch, but it's not time for him to come back, and it never will be.
And really quick before we go, a lot of people aren't talking about Marquez and Timothy Bradley. How do you feel about that fight?
I don't know. I'm excited about that fight. As a boxing purist, I love the fact that both of those guys had a chance to fight Pacquiao, and both of them turned it down for an opportunity that they both thought was going to do something for their legacy. You don't hear that very much. I mean, now let's not pretend that these guys are going to walk away broke from this fight. They're going to make great money. But neither of them are going to make Manny Pacquiao money off of this fight.
No.
You've got Bradley, who, for all intents and purposes, if you take out the Ruslan Provodnikov fight, is a speedster, is a boxer, and I think has the speed and the counter-punching abilities to handle Marquez. But the guy who fought Ruslan Provodnikov is a different Timothy Bradley, and Marquez remains a powerful counterpuncher.
A very powerful counterpuncher.
I see this happen in a lot of ways. I think that Bradley is going to get back to his boxing ways, jump out to an early lead, but Marquez is a live dog, and that happened in the Pacquiao fight. Marquez was starting to land some clean shots once he figured him out. He's not as fast as he used to be. He's not as, put together as he used to be, but he's still Marquez.
And a bigger Marquez than we've ever seen.
Yeah, strong as hell. I mean, ask Pacquiao how strong he is. So
he looked great for that fight. It was probably the strongest he's ever looked. Whether you want to believe he did it clean or not, I mean, none of the tests came back positive for anything. Yeah. So we gotta believe that Romano Marquez is clean and he's just he trained for that fight. He's a hard worker that you can never take away from him. And he's packing a definite punch.
Seriously.
And September 14th, that will be a huge day for Marquez to fight on Mexican Independence Weekend. Let's see if Mayweather doesn't steal his thunder.
Yeah.
But if I'm Bob Arum, I still make the fight if Floyd Mayweather fights Amir Khan on that day, and Canelo's not fighting that day.
I'm just glad I'm not the one who has to make the call, but I think all the fights that are being discussed for September are all fights I want to see. Even the second best options are options that I think are going to make September an incredible month.
And next week we'll discuss all those other fights and undercards and everything. They're all great fights.
Lopez versus Garcia is coming up. I know you have something to say about that. A lot of stuff. Maidana versus Josecito Lopez.
Gamboa
Chad Dawson
Darley
versus
Perez.
Adonis Stevenson. Iris Landilara versus Alfredo Angulo, which you mentioned. It's awesome to be a boxing fan this year.
And I will say this really quick before we go. Somebody told me today that Darley Perez, in his last fight in Colombia, fought an 8-7 guy, should have lost a fight.
And he's the one fighting Gamboa.
He's fighting Gamboa. He's going to get wrecked. But anyway, that's it for Boxing During Dinner. We'll see you next week.
And episode 97, we're close to 100.
That's right.
We're getting there.
We need to do something special.
Yeah, we'll do it.